I audible here through mic? Online students, am I audible? Yes. Everyone, please let me know if I'm audible online. Good. Okay. So, hello everyone. I'm Suba Keerthana. So, we'll be discussing many topics regarding anthropology. So, before going into the discussion, I immediately do not want to start with what is a syllabus and all the academic aspect alone. So I will just tell you something in a very general aspect. First, before choosing any optional, you have to consider certain things, not just anthropology. It can be any optionals. Okay, so there are three things which I want you to consider. Okay, so first thing, what I want you to consider is what is the mark scoring potential of a subject. So what is the objective of us studying any optional? Why do we really need to study any optional? Obviously, we have to clear the examination and we have to get into a very good service. Yes or no? So before preparing all those things, I want you to know that what is the score you get in optional will decide whether you are inside the service list or not. I want you to get this clear in your mind. Okay? Because when you go to the personality test, so personality test might be subjective because there is a human-human interaction, and there are many aspects which will decide the mark in the personality test. So it is the cumulative marks of the mains, which is the written mains. Actually, in examination, what they will say is it is written as mains, written and personality test. You understand? The combined marks is what is called as the mains mark, in which you have written and the personality test. So what is in your hand, what is under your control will be mains marks. You understand what I'm telling you? We'll all just get settled, then we'll continue. Okay. See, this is not your class. This is where you are going to decide whether you want to select this optional or not. You understand? So I want you all to be very interactive. And even after choosing the optional and you are attending the class, I will expect you to be interactive. Okay? Fine. Okay. So we were discussing that why first aspect of any, are we all done? Shall we start? Yes. Comfortable? Okay, fine. So I was just telling everyone that I hope some of you might have seen me in the class. So I'm Suba Keerthana. I'm just reminding you all again. So see, first aspect of choosing any optional should be mark scoring. Okay. So why? Because yes, please get seated. Why? Because that will only decide whether you are inside the list or not. Because personality test can be subjective. You cannot control the marks there. You can only give your best, and you should always be ready for whatever marks has been given. But one thing which is always under your control is your mains mark. You understand? In mains mark, optional has very high potential. You take average marks of other subjects, GS and SA, you will be getting less than 50% average. So almost 49 to 55%. This would be your highest range I'm talking about. But in optional, you can go more than that. There are instances where 360 out of 500 has been scored in the optionals. Okay. So what is the score you are taking in your optional will decide, irrespective of your personality test mark, will decide whether you are inside the service or not. You understand? And provided with you got a very good mark in optionals and you got a very good score in terms of interview, you are in top 50, which means you get your preferred service and your home cadre. This is the importance of optionals, and I want you to know that. So before choosing any optionals, see what is the mark scoring potential of that particular paper. This is point number 1. Point number 2 is that, are you interested in the topics? You understand? That's very important, because this is going to take almost, in mains preparation, 50% of your time you're allotting for mains preparation should be given to optional preparation. And if it is not interesting, it would be like you fighting yourself to study it. Fine. We are going to do it almost for the entire preparation, and don't add this along with your optional also. You understand? So second aspect of choosing any optional should be, you have to review the syllabus, fine, and you have to see whether you are interested towards those topics. Okay, so let's say there is a mark scoring paper and it's very interesting also, and can I choose it? The most important aspect is, will you get right guidance towards it? It's not about how much you know, it's about how you are writing it in the paper. Yes, so nobody is going to give you mark that, so this person has studied a lot, so let me give them more mark. It's not about that. It's about how your paper is. Who can give you guidance towards that would be a guide. You understand? So I won't say teacher, because it's not about teaching, it's about guiding. Clear? For example, a person will have a very great advantage in terms of certain topics. Some other person will have that particular topic a bit tough. So a guide will rightly identify it and let them know where you have to concentrate, where you have to give less time, and what is the minute correction you are supposed to do, all those things. You understand? So this aspect, like what is the mark scoring, how can you increase your mark in your examination, all those strategy will be given by a guide only. Can I do self-preparation? Yes, you can absolutely do self-preparation, but it will take time. I will not say that you cannot do self-preparation at all. You should definitely, choose a course. I'm not going to say that, but it will definitely take time, because you're going to experiment in the examination, not in the test year. I don't want you to waste time in that aspect, because one attempt is how many years? 2 years. It's not 1 year. It's 2 years, because you prepare for 1 year and the process takes 1 more year. Yes or no? Let's say you decide to start this preparation in April 2026 and your final result will be in April 2028. So just one attempt is 2 years. And how many experiments will take for you to find the right, strategy? We will never know. You understand? So guide you want to have, you should definitely think about it before choosing any optionals. Clear? So like how you are seeing this, I want you to explore all the optionals and decide what will suit you. Okay? So this I want you to keep it in the mind. And optionals, you have to give equal importance, like how you give your importance to the general studies. Yes? Fine? Okay. So now going into anthropology more specifically. So anybody have any idea about what is anthropology? Study of human beings. Yes? Origin? Okay. So what else? What else you know about anthropology? See, I know clearly you are just starting to prepare or starting to know about anthropology. Your answers might be right, your answers might not be right. I am completely aware of it. I'm just trying to understand what you know about anthropology. So just give me an idea, give me an understanding of what you know about anthropology. Anybody wants to add to what is anthropology? Study of evolution, culture, okay.
Species of man.
Various species of man, okay. Then, you know what is, when there is a question, what is anthropology, you can never go wrong. Because everything about human beings comes under anthropology. You talk about society, you talk about biological aspect, you talk about historic aspect, you talk about psychological aspect, linguistic aspect, economical aspect, political aspect, everything of human beings will come under anthropology. That is why I told you, you can never go wrong whenever there is a question, what is anthropology? And you give an answer to it. We're going to study we are going to get a holistic aspect about ourselves, which is human beings. You understand? And I can tell you one thing, if you are understanding what we are discussing and, if you are processing all those things, I can promise you one thing, you will be a different person once we are completing all the classes. That is something I have already seen. Because you'll understand yourself better, because we're going to see all the aspect of human beings, not just evolution, not just fossils. We'll actually study everything, and we will even study about Indian society. So everything in the Indian society. And will that have GS relevance? Of course, it will have GS relevance also. Your mains and your prelims and also your personality test. This will have an impact on the holistic preparation also. Clear? So you can see here, man wanders over the restless sea, the flowing waters, the sight of sky, and forgets that all wonders man himself is the most wonderful. So one organism on this earth who can perceive all these things is human beings. Okay, we'll understand why human beings are the most successful organism on this earth, which we have discussed in our science class. Some of you might have attended the science classes, which we will discuss in detail. And how every aspect of human beings is helping us to become the most successful organism we will study. And when we discuss evolution, we are seeing how human beings are trying to even evade evolution. Like how we are going to escape the process of evolution. Like death becomes inevitable for every organism, and we are escaping death by finding new vaccinations, finding new medicines, transplantation, stem cell, so many things we are doing on daily basis. So we will understand about everything about human beings. It can be, the 4 major branches of anthropology itself is this. We'll study biological anthropology, and syllabus goes this way only. So first paper, you have 2 papers. I think you will be aware of it. So you'll have paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1, you will study holistic anthropology. Paper 2 would be Indian anthropology. You understand? In paper 1, you will be reading 4 branches. So we'll be discussing all the 4 branches. In paper 2, we will be discussing India specifically. First half would be Indian society. Second half would be tribe, Indian tribes. Okay, so in this aspect, we'll be discussing in terms of anthropology. And we have syllabus in our website. I want you to go open our website. There you have a clear syllabus of optional, anthropology as an optional. You can just see, like if you have any idea, how do you feel about it, you can discuss. But I'll just give you a basic understanding of what are the 4 branches of anthropology and what we will be studying with respect to that in the classes. And then even the paper 2 also, we'll have a discussion on that. Okay. So first is biological anthropology. In biological anthropology, we will see human beings as biological organism. As a living organism, what are the aspects of human beings that we will discuss? Nutritional aspect, how do we adapt to different environmental conditions? We'll discuss that. Genetics of human beings, diseases of human beings, all those things we'll be studying in the biological anthropology. And you need not worry, we are not going very deep. We are not going to become experts in all these things. You cannot become experts in all topics we are going to discuss. I will help you in one aspect, that how to frame answers. Okay, if there is any question asked from a particular topic, how to frame answers, that I will help you with. You need not worry about it. You understand? So that is very, very important, because as I told you, it's about what you write it in the paper. It's not about how much you know. This I want you all to remember whenever you are studying. You understand? So biological anthropology, we'll see human beings as a biological organism, and then we'll see what is the evolutionary aspect, and then what is the nutritional aspect, epidemiological aspect, that is diseases. And then we'll discuss about, adaptations, ecological anthropology, we call it as, how human beings adapt to different environmental conditions. And all those things we'll be discussing in the biological anthropology part. In this part specifically, some of you might have doubts. I am not from a biology background. Either I have studied biology in my schools or I did not take biology group in 11th and 12th. Any of you here with that doubt? Yes, raise your hands well. Online students, because this is a common doubt. Many students have asked me. Okay, fine. So if you ask this question, I will say you need not worry about it. Because this is going to contribute like 1/4 of first paper. This is not even 1/4 of total syllabus, 1/4 of first paper. And however, you have to study this for GS also. It's not just specifically to anthropology. You're going to study all these things as a basic in science and technology and basic science. And few add-ons we will be doing it here. I will not say this is completely like GS. Few add-ons which we will be doing it here. And that again, we will be taking help from other parts like cultural aspects, historical aspects. You need not worry about it. You understand? So you might have studied biology till 10th standard, right? Yes, till 10th standard, you might have studied biology, and that would be more than enough. We have to put in some extra effort, which is worth it. You understand? I want you to remove that resistance. If you keep that in mind and approach it, it won't work. I want you to just start fresh, and I will help you with that biological aspect. You need not worry about it. You understand? Then we'll go to cultural anthropology. This is one of the most interesting part, I would say, because everything around you will start making sense. You will start understanding what is the role of all the social institutions around you: family, kinship, marriage, religion. What is the role of economics and inside the society? What is the role of politics inside the society? All these things you will start understanding. You understand what I'm telling you? So this aspect, what is culture, and why do we always think the culture we belong to is the best? You can see one trait among human beings is we are always ready to judge. Yes or no? We always assume that we have the authority to judge others. That is something we always get ready for. And when you complete these topics, you will understand that everybody has their own perspective to do something. And we are going to study it in a technical way. It's not going to be philosophical when it comes to this. We'll understand different cultures. So I'll give you one very interesting example which we will see. There is newer women marriage. You understand? There is a tribal society called as Newers in Africa, and they have women marriage. And this is an example for exception to universality of marriage. So generally you take the concept of marriage, you have a definition. So marriage is a socially approved sexual relationship between two individuals, and they have some understanding within them where they share labor, they give birth to child, and child rearing takes place, and then resource sharing. All these things will come under the definition of marriage. But this newer women marriage is an exception. Why? Because this is not same-sex marriage. You understand? This women marriage is a pure economic understanding. It's not a same-sex marriage. They do not have any form of sexual affinity towards each other. They are marrying just because if divorce happens, they do not want to give their property to men, because the property is very scarce there, and they do not want to lose their property once divorce takes place. So what do? The women get married, and they can have visiting husbands. This is completely socially approved. From Indian perspective, you might think, how is this even possible? And this has been happening for many years, and it is working for them, and they have a reason for it. This is just one case study I'm telling you with respect to marriage as a social institution. Fine. So it is a pure economic understanding where they And if there are children born, they both will take care of it. There will be two mothers for the child and they will be taking care of the child. You understand? So what we think is right only in our perspective, and there are multiple perspectives. So this you will study in cultural anthropology, different cultures in the world and why they are doing certain things and what is the need of religion, what are the different theories with respect to religion. You understand? Then you will have different anthropological theories. There are different anthropologists who come up with what is the reason culture is present in the first place, or how does culture get shaped because of various aspects. All these things will be studying in the cultural anthropology. This will be very, very interesting aspect, and you will start relating to your life also, and your perspectives will get shaped after this aspect. This will help you in writing a very good essay, very good society paper, social justice paper. This will help you a lot. And also the biological anthropology will help you in writing very good mains answers in terms of, science paper, environment papers. There it will help you a lot. Then you will come to archaeological anthropology. So in this aspect, you will be studying, different fossil remains, different cultures. So prehistoric cultures, what we say. You will be studying this, however, in history. Ancient history, you will be studying all those things. We will be studying them in more detail. That's all. You understand? So this will be also very interesting. And okay, we'll compare and study both Indian and world perspective, which will help you to write a very good answer, easy answer. Actually, Indian archaeology, you will have it in paper 2. Archaeology in general, you will have it in paper 1, but we will study them combined. The recent trend is that UPSC has been asking this Indian archaeological part in the paper 1 also. Their logic, or that's the truth also. India is in world. You cannot say this is paper 2. How can you ask this? So what we are going to do is we are going to study them together. Nee paper 1 la kelu or paper 2 la kelu. It can be paper 1 or paper 2. I see a question, I'm going to write an answer. That is how we are going to get ready for it. You understand? So this is one aspect, Indian and world archaeological anthropology. This you will have a proper format of answer. And here it requires diagrams. You understand? You will draw tools, and don't worry, you need not be an artist here. Ma'am, should I? No, they should understand that you are trying to convey this. Even in biological anthropology, there will be question on locomotion of primates. Okay, different locomotion in terms of primates. There, let's say quadrupedalism. You have to just show that there is an organism which is trying to walk in 4 legs. It need not be actually like a proper ape trying to walk in 4 legs. Not necessary. Okay, so you have to draw a map, which is again approximately looks like that. And then tools, you have to draw the diagram, but you can practice it. You have time, you can practice it. You should be drawing skull. Like when we are studying about different fossil primates, when we are comparing evolutionary aspect of human beings, you have to draw those things, but need not be perfect. You have to just show the difference. What is the major difference between these two fossil? You have to just show the comparative aspect. This is present in this is not present in this fossil. That is what you have to do. That you can always practice, and it won't be a big deal in this. You understand? Then linguistic anthropology. So linguistic anthropology is a different field as such. We'll study about origin of language. One of the major reason human beings are successful organism is development of language. Communication is there in all organisms, yes or no? Is there any form of communication in different organisms? Yes. So the communication is present in most of the organism you take. Let's say there is a crow. There are different situations in the wildlife where two different organisms have a way of communication. Let's say there is a fox which is feeding on a carcass. Crows are known to interact with them, tell them that there is a danger, you have to run away. different ways of communication has been seen in the animal kingdom. Even plants are known to communicate with each other. It's called as wood wide web. Okay, the roots are known to communicate with each other. Wherever there is a gap and the roots are not able to reach each other, fungi is going to help them. So communication exists in many organisms. Yes, but in human beings, we have developed more than just communication, which is language. Okay, and we will see why human beings have developed the aspect of language. What are the different aspects of language by themselves? Verbal, non-verbal, all those things. So there are different perspectives when it comes to language alone. We'll be studying here. In paper 2, we'll be studying Indian languages in general, which is like one question. It's a 20 mark or 15 mark question. One question in that aspect, which we'll be studying in the paper 2. Okay, so we'll study about linguistic minorities also there. So paper 2 will more help you in terms of polity also. You will study certain aspects of constitution. You will study certain aspects of law, all those things about minorities, tribes, all those you can see it in the paper 2. Okay, so here we will study about the language aspect, and language is known to be the window of any culture. Why this term is used is that, let's say I am teaching my child an aspect of my culture, the culture I belong to. So one example which I always admire is that, so this term maternal uncle, have you heard about this term maternal uncle? So in Tamil culture or many of the South Indian culture, this relationship maternal uncle is a very important relationship. Not just in Tamil Nadu. In Kerala, there are societies where maternal uncle's property will come to the child, not the father's property. So the role of maternal uncle is very, very important. But when I say maternal uncle, you are not actually getting the emotion behind the word maternal uncle. But if I use the word in their particular language, like in Tamil, you will use the word Thai Mama. That is a right actually. There are fights, there are violences which has happened when they are not invited to a function. You understand? Like people who are belonging to South India, they will understand. Can I write this as an example? Yes. You can write this as an example in the paper. You understand? You can write anything as an example in your paper, and you just have to know how to write it. You understand? So this is one example I'm giving you for the language. Am I audible? Yes? Okay. Fine. So same way, there are certain words which you cannot actually translate from a particular language. You will never find a perfect translation of those words. So we will study these aspects when it comes to languages. You understand why language is important, what is the need of language, and what are the different theories when it comes to the formation of language. And it is also genetics. We have a particular gene which has led to the formation of language. Okay, so all these we will be discussing it in this aspect. So when it comes to the, yes, so we will discuss both perspectives. Why you should choose anthro, and what are the, I won't say, why you should not choose anthro, but I will give you some requirements and I want you to check it. Fine. First is syllabus is shorter compared to any other optionals. That is something I want to tell you. The number of classes or number of hours will be comparatively less. But we will be writing more tests. That I'm telling you today. Almost at the end of every classes, you will be writing at least one question, or we will be having class test. That is going to be inevitable. Okay, so I'm going to utilize this advantage on the practice aspect. Okay, so it doesn't mean syllabus is smaller, so they're going to ask easy questions. No, they will actually have a method of bringing equality when it comes to the optionals, because this is one aspect where it is different from person to person. So they won't make it unfair. So they will ensure that aspect. So even though the syllabus is shorter, we will complete it fast, but I want to utilize that time for practice, the extra time which we have for practice. Then scoring potential is really high, which I can show you, 362 marks have been, achieved in the optional. So 300 plus is completely possible. 280 plus should be a mandate. You understand what I'm telling you? 280 plus is a mandate. Like anybody who wants to be inside the service should definitely get 280 plus. And getting above that is completely possible. That is what I'm telling you here. You understand? Having these advantages, I want you to utilize it so that 280 plus is a compulsory mandate here. You should not aim for less than 280. More than 280 is possible, and I will help you. I am here to help you for that aspect. That is something you have to take interest in and really put in your time and energy. In that aspect, 280 plus is a normal affair. 300 plus is completely possible. You understand this? Next is GS essay ethics paper. You will definitely have this because in ethics, most of the questions you will get regarding scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. They'll give you a, anecdote. Let's say you are a CEO of a company. I think you might have seen some of the papers. Let's say you are the CEO of a company and there is a member known to harass a member from a scheduled caste community. So how will you handle that situation? Kind of questions will be asked in ethics also, which you can use, take help from whatever you have studied in anthropology and use it. Okay. So right now in prelims also they're asking you questions. They asked about PVTG, particularly vulnerable tribal group in prelims, which we will study in paper 2. You understand? So again, about tribes, linguistic minorities, or they will ask you questions regarding evolution. So Denisovian, they just asked you a question, what is the meaning of Denisovian? That we will study. It's one of the stages of human beings evolution. It's a fossil. Okay, so these things in questions of prelims also they will ask you and you can answer it. Okay, then in terms of tribal development, tribal upliftment, you will get question. Regionalism we will study. We will study about tribal uprisings, and then we'll study about ethnic conflicts. What are the reasons? What are the different ethnic conflicts in India? All these things you might be asked in the GS also. Okay, then diagrams, flow charts. You can write one of the most interesting answers that I can tell you. That I can help you with also. Okay. See, one thing I will tell you is there are lots and lots of case studies which we will discuss in the class also. I want you to make note of them. Some places I might ask you to get some case studies by yourself. Okay. One aspect of anthropology I have seen is it is very interesting that people end up getting degree before even clearing the mains. They get lost in searching so many content. You just keep going. You go to one case study, you just jump to another case study. See, we will have lots and lots of case studies which we are going to discuss in the class. And I will let you know where you are supposed to search and take case studies. Those places you can go search case studies and write it. You understand? So this is one aspect I can tell you, your diagrams, flow charts, your answers, which can be pre-practiced. And there you can go and write it in a really good way. And interest, scoring and effort in that aspect, since it's interesting, you won't feel frustrated when you prepare. In all the 4 branches, I will tell you openly that some branch might feel tough for some of you. Let's say I'm very comfortable in social anthropology. I might feel a bit tougher in archaeological anthropology. This way, everybody might have one part which you have to put extra effort in. And this is the same in all the optionals. There are some parts which you are not that comfortable with. You have to put in more effort. That is definitely there. Okay. So when it comes to the requirement, so what is the requirement I would tell you is practice is very important. Why? Because the syllabus might be short. You can get questions which might look like a dynamic question, where you have to be smart enough to just write what you already know. The question is not going to be out of nowhere. Now the trend is out of, all the questions, 1 or 2 questions is asked as a surprise question. You understand, which you might not have prepared, which you might not have studied. But you should be writing very good answers that you compensate that mark in other questions. You understand what I am telling you? That is going to be inevitable. How much ever you try and study, there are 1 or 2 questions which you might not answer. If you start focusing on those 1 or 2 questions, you will be losing other questions. Let's say 10 marker, a compulsory 10 marker, which you might not know the answer for. And 10 marker, what is the maximum mark they will give if you write a decent answer is 5. This 5 marks can you compensate in other questions? 1 mark extra in other questions, you can completely compensate. So one requirement would be the questions which you have prepared, you should be having a very quality answer in those questions. Okay, that is going to come only with practice, and that I want you to cooperate. I'm going to plan test. I'm going to plan all the strategy for you. I want you to cooperate. I want you to really put in effort. That is one major requirement. Second is the diagram aspect I told you, and the biology aspect. I want you to remove the resistance from your mind. I want to keep your mind open. The same way how you did not study biology, you did not study polity also. You did not study history also. You did not study geography also. Yes or no? The same way you're handling all those things. Then why do you worry about biology alone? Clear? So this is going to be almost 1/8 of the total syllabus. In first paper, 1/4. Total syllabus would be 1/8. So this requirement I really want you to have. Keep an open mind. Okay, and interactive sessions. If it is one way, it is going to be not so interesting. It has to be interactive in the classes. Okay. So these are the major aspects which we will be studying, and applied anthropology will be even more interesting. We will be studying forensics. We will be studying how we are going to choose different people for different sports. It's called as kinanthropometry. Let's say there is a person who's, short in stature. And what do you think, what sport will work for them? What sport do you think will work for them? Weightlifting. Because the distance which the person is going to, which the weight is going to travel is lesser. Let's say there is a person who has to run fast. And what do you think would be the physical criteria for that person? Tall. Even more precise, the legs have to be longer than the torso. This is kinanthropometry, which we will study. So applied anthropology, you will study how we are applying anthropology in our everyday life. Forensics, and then you will study about kinanthropometry. Okay, and how it is going to help in terms of upliftment of people. All those things you will be studying in applied anthropology. Human ecology, demography. Then we will study about theory of aging. What are the different theories with respect to aging? Okay, blood groups, genetics we will study. All those perspectives we will be studying in the paper 1. Paper 2, we are going to divide it into 2 parts. One is Indian society. You will be studying varnashramas. What are the different belief system when it comes to religion in terms of India? You understand what is karma, what is rina, what is rebirth. Okay, Jajmani system. We'll study about nature, man, spirit complex. So all these Indian society perspective, different Indian villages. So what is the role of Indian villages in Indian society? All these we'll be studying in the first half of paper 2. Second half of paper 2, we'll go to tribal India. So here we'll study the racial classification. So in India, how are we going to classify different population of Indians based on how do they look? Okay, and this is not, if you are asking, is this valid today? It is not valid today. This has been done during the British period, and why did they do that? All those we will discuss. Then we'll go to tribal aspect specifically. We'll discuss different linguistic aspect of tribes, and then we'll discuss about what are the issues they face. Then we'll talk about what are the provisions they have that is coming from the government. Fine. we'll be discussing about how tribal administration has been happening before British, during British era, and post-British period. That also we will discuss. Then finally, we'll discuss about impact of religion. This will be very, very interesting. So impact of different religion on Indian society and tribal India. Okay. So what is the role of, let's say I'm wearing a dress today. This is suit. This is impact of Islamism on Indian culture. You understand? This way you will be writing biryani, and then today we have gowns worn on what is this, reception of marriages, suits worn on reception of marriages, which is the impact of Christianity on Indian culture. All these we will be studying in the paper 2, impact of religion on both Indian culture and tribal society. These two we will be studying. Then we'll study regionalism, what is ethnicity, social movements, and what is the role of media. All those we'll be studying in the paper 2. Paper 2, you'll have very much relevance with GS. But one thing in paper 2 is you should not write your answer as GS answers. The answer should be anthropology answers, which I will keep reminding you. You are writing it like GS, it should be an anthropology answer. How do you change that would be the examples you give. You understand? So in classes, we might have discussed about anemia. If any of you have attended my classes of basic science, we discussed about anemia. We always had one perspective about the cause of anemia in India, specifically how it is affecting women. But your perspective changed. That is what we are going to discuss in anthropology. What is the role of society? What is the role of culture in different aspects of our country? Okay, so that is what we will be discussing it in the paper 2. Paper 2 syllabus is comparatively smaller than paper 1. Let's take, we are planning a completion of syllabus in 4 months. Almost 2.5 months we will be preparing for paper 1. 1.5 months you will be doing paper 2. But answer practice will be equally given, because paper 2, the answer will be very familiar. You should not write it like GS answer. That I will help you with when you are writing test. See, one thing you have to write test. I'm telling you again, one major mistake I've seen among people. So if you go and ask them, they'll have lots and lots of things to talk about. They'll say all the case studies. They'll talk about all the anthropologists. But in answers, they won't be able to write. Because the realistic issues you will understand only when you start to write. Is that pen working for you? Are you able to sit in a place for more than 1 hour? Just trust me, when you are writing a test, your brain will tell you, we will write next test. We will write next test. We will stop in 2 questions. We will stop in 3 questions. All these things you will start facing. If you have to rectify those things, you have to write test. You understand? So test is one requirement I will tell you. So there will be many people enrolling for the class, but test, when it comes to test, only few will be writing. I don't want that to happen. Clear? Yes? So this is the aspect of anthropology in technical part. So if you have any questions regarding choosing this optional, you can always ask me right now. Okay. So one question is, how much depth of preparation is needed for anthropology as an optional? Okay. See, there is PG level syllabus in all the optionals, not in anthropology. Any syllabus you are taking will be PG level syllabus. If you are studying for an optional properly, you can clear PG exams. You understand what I am telling you? I'm not even joking. If you are studying for the optionals properly, this is the same syllabus for a PG, MA anthropology. Fine. For that, this is the syllabus. Okay, but depth aspect, we are not going to become experts in anthropology. We are going to score mark in anthropology. That I want you to understand. Okay, so we are going to have a basic understanding of all the questions, all the topics, which I will ensure in the classes. We'll have discussions, we'll have lectures, we'll have, if you have doubts separately, you can always ask me. You're going to get clarified in the basic aspects of the topics, basic understandings of topics. And we are going to concentrate more on answer writing. Okay, every topic, every word in the syllabus will have a structure and you have to take notes for that. That is the main way of preparation, I would say. So every word in the syllabus, this is not syllabus, you can search it in the website. Okay, once the class starts, the first class I will be giving you a handout which will be containing the entire syllabus of anthropology. You should know every word in that syllabus and you should be able to define every word in the syllabus, and different aspects of those topics we will study in the class, discuss in the class. Okay, if you ask me the depth of what you have to study, basics you have to be definitely strong, and you should know how to frame an answer and write answer for those questions. Okay, when the questions are different, the base is going to be again same. How are you going to rearrange the perspective is going to just vary. You understand? Let's say they're asking you a particular topic. So they're asking you, let's say, kinship, different kinship terminologies they're asking you. They might ask you anyway. You see the word kinship terminology. The question you have to just do some changes in the introduction, conclusion, and how are you going to rearrange. But the answer is going to be same. Okay, so if you are not strong in kinship terminology, you cannot write that answer. We are going to get ready in that perspective only. Okay, clear? We'll do a PYQ analysis of last 10 years and you will see they will be asking you repeated questions. The same questions keep repeating again and again, except that 1 or 2 questions every year I told you will come like, as a surprise question. Other than that, all the questions are going to be same. In 2023, they asked about Mesolithic India in paper 1 and paper 2. The same question, Mesolithic India, was asked in paper 1 and paper 2 also, which is almost 15 plus 15, 30 marks. You understand? They are not even changing certain questions from paper 1 to paper 2. Just imagine the entire aspect. So we will do PYQ analysis. We will have a basic understanding of all the words in the syllabus and we are going to practice answer writing. Meanwhile, you are going to take notes. Okay, I will help you in terms of shaping your notes also, but completely will I give you notes in the hand? I'm not going to do that. I want you to sit and write notes. I will give you handouts, yes. Let's say I'm going to give you a skeleton. You have to build everything on that. Meanwhile, while writing notes, if you have doubt, you can always ask me. Clear? Yes. So we'll be having classes from 2:30 to 5 in the afternoons. We'll have 3 days per week. Okay, so mostly 2:30 to 4:30 will be our class and we'll have 15 minutes, mostly 15 minutes of a test, small test. This is going to be the model of the classes. And we have both offline and online modes. If you are able to come here, please come to the offline mode. And students who are, out of Chennai can attend online mode. Okay. Answer writing practice from the beginning itself, yes, we will start, but not as an entire test, 1 question per day, 2 questions per day. Mostly what we discussed in that day. You need not study and come. Mostly what we discussed in that day, I will give you a question which you can write it and we will discuss and we'll leave. That is how it would be. Okay. Yes. Resources for anthropology. So there are almost 4 to 5 books which I will tell you, which you have to refer. Other than that, you can ask me, you can refer internet. Okay. And 4 to 5 books, those books also, it's not completely you have to read those books. Those are reference materials. And I want you to make your notes referring those books. Okay. Anything else you want to ask about the optionals? See, current affairs, when it comes to current affairs, case studies, like, it's not compulsory that you have to update every topics. Let's say you are seeing any scheme with respect to tribes. It's completely up to you that you take it and write it as a case study. Should I constantly keep updating current affairs separately for anthropology? That won't be a requirement. But when you are generally studying current affairs, you are studying a social aspect, you are studying a tribal aspect, you can write it. Let's say Supreme Court is giving a judgment with respect to a family aspect or a marriage aspect, that you can quote it as a case study. But will that change your answer completely? No. Okay? Yes. Sorry? See, we will complete the class in 4 months. Okay, so 4 months is what I would take to complete your class. Completely up to you how you are going to spend time and take notes and test all those things. Okay. Anything else you want to ask? See, test and its review for online students. I will give you the test here in the questions. I will be here giving you in the class only. I won't give you a question paper as such. Those tests which we are going to formally conduct, online students, I will send you the question paper and the booklet format as a soft copy. Here you can come and write it here. But in general class test, once the class is over, I am going to dictate the question here. You all can write it, submit it and go. Online students we will form a Telegram group where you can share it to me, which I will correct it and give you. You understand? Based on the situation, I'll give you my feedbacks either in the written format in the paper or, I will give it one-to-one feedback session also. Based on the time and need requirement, it will change. Okay? See, when it comes to civil services, you have only one optionals. So there is a question that optional 1 and optional 2, should I choose 2 optionals? Civil services, you have only one optional. If you are choosing anthropology, that is going to be the only optional, but you have 2 papers in them, paper 1 and paper 2. But forest service, on the other hand, you have different list of optionals and you have 2 optionals to be chosen there. Okay, so anthropology is not in forest services. Civil services, anthropology is there. And for civil services, if you want to choose anthropology, you're going to choose only anthropology. In that, you have 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Okay, so that would be the aspect. Civil services, you don't need 2 optionals, only 1 optionals. Yes.
You consider 2 subjects, anthropology or sociology, which you prefer?
If you ask me, I would say anthropology. Why? Because this is more dynamic, I would say. Sociology, I'm not very well, aware of the topics in sociology. But I just told you what are the advantages in anthropology. What I would suggest you is, you attend the demo of sociology also, review the syllabus of sociology also, and you see what is comfortable for you and choose it. If you ask me, I chose anthropology. So I would definitely give you an answer, which would be subjective, I believe. So take time, go to sociology demo also, see the syllabus also, and then decide. Okay?
Regard to the essay, and mostly contain the philosophical form. We covered that various philosophy, the question will be in another form or a single philosophical course.
Okay.
To manage while studying.
Okay. See, one thing I told you is your perspectives will change. So if you ask me as an individual, this helped me to become a non-judgmental person. You understand? Which is definitely not easy, because it has become the part of our life that we immediately judge before always considering someone else's perspective. So this will give you, let's say, one of my friend told a word called as mental resources. You have a boundary of how much you are able to think. And that boundary is designed by the culture you belong to. Your parents, your schools, all these I'm telling you, you will study in ethics also. You understand what your school taught you, what your parents taught you, and what your friends are telling you. All these things will decide your mental boundary. You will not be able to think beyond that because it is scary. You understand what is beyond this? What if that is also right? It's very scary because you are used to comfort. Human beings are very, very scared about unpredictable situations. We want certainty. This will break that to you. This will remove that fear about it. So the perspective, will this give you philosophy? I won't say yes. It is not going to give you any philosophies. But the way you look at philosophies, the way you look at others' perspectives will definitely change, which means your answers will be more rational compared to very subjective answers. This will make you a more rational person. That I can tell you. You understand the way someone looks at a particular social issue and you looking at that particular social issue will be very different. That I can tell you. When I say this is going to help you in ethics, this is going to help you in terms of GS, society, social justice, you have direct relevance. You understand? What you're studying here, you can directly go and write it there in the paper. Ethics and essay and all, you'll get very good anecdotes. So the anecdote I told you even today, newer women marriage, these and all, you can use it in the essay papers. Okay, just that don't write your essay as anthropology answer. That is something you have to, always be like, you should control that anthropologist in you, and you should keep reminding you, now I'm writing essay and not anthropology paper. That is something you should have it in the mind. Other than that, you will have lots of things to write. See, one thing about mains is, you all might fear about not knowing the answer. You know what will be the real issue in mains? You will know lots of things. You don't know what to write it in the paper and what not to write it in the paper. Trust me. If you are someone who's clearing prelims, which means you already know so many things. In examination, specifically mains, what am I going to write so that it becomes the best answer will be the issue, not that what am I going to write it in the paper. You understand this perspective? So here, anthropology, if you take, this will make you more of a rational person. This will make you more of a tolerant person. This will make you more of a non-judgmental person. That definitely it will make, which will make your answer very good, because these are the desirable quality of an officer. You might be getting posted in some other state where you might be working for tribal people, where you might be working for completely different community, where if you do not have tolerance, you can't work for them. There are IPS officers who are belonging to a particular religion, might be going for bandobast for some other religious functions. They can never say, see, I can't come, I belong to this particular religion. But if you are having all these understanding, you will actually enjoy the process. That is one change this will help you bring. Okay. Any other doubts you have? This is not class. This is where you're going to choose. So any doubt you have, there is no silly doubts, silly questions. It can be any questions you can ask so that you can confidently choose this optional. That is what is the objective of today's session is. Okay. Sorry, you are coming from different back. Okay, okay. Okay, they will ask you a question. Very good question this is. They'll ask you a question. They'll look at your DAF and they'll ask you that, see, you are coming from mechanical engineering background. Why did you not choose mechanical engineering as an optional? Okay. I would suggest you to give an answer where you did not get a guide. That is a fact also. You cannot get a guide for a mechanical engineering. And it's going to be too technical to write as an optional. If you give this as an answer, they will completely be convinced because this is a fact. You understand? I have been asked. I am from a electronics and engineering background. And when I asked me why did I choose anthropology as an optional, I told you 3 points in the starting of this discussion. I told them the answer. That is the truth. That is a fact also. It's not compulsory that you have to take the optional from what is your UG background. If that is the case, don't you think UPSC would have bring that as a condition? UPSC is not giving such conditions. So you can even say, I wanted to explore. I was very much interested in the topics. I wanted to learn more. And it is also mark scoring and I got a good guide. So it became a compliment to me. So I chose this optional. It would be a very good answer also in the interview. Okay. Any other thing? And you are going to definitely get a question in UPSC interview from your optionals. That I'm going to tell you. So there, this will have you have an advantage because you can have more interesting things to speak and they'll be like, they'll be impressed. Interview is to impress. That is not to know whether you know answer or not. You have to impress them. So there you get very interesting things to talk about, which they can relate also. Okay, fine. Any other doubts you want to ask? Yes. Seriously, you do not have any doubts. There are only two possibilities out of this. Yes. Yes. See, one is time factor. If you are doing self-preparation, are you asking about self-preparation? Like there's no guide. Let's say I want to choose this optional, but I don't have anyone to guide me. So what are the difficulties I would face? Am I right about the question? Yes. So first is time factor. You understand? For you to understand that topics itself, you will take more time. Even if you do that, you won't know how to write the answers, which is more important. So you have to experiment it, which will be in the examinations. So the number of attempts you take to clear the mains will be higher. But if you have a guide, they will tell you the right way, that what are the mistakes you are committing, what are your advantages, and how to use them accordingly. And also when you come to the classes, so what happens is that the amount of time you take to understand a particular topic will be comparatively lesser when you do it yourself. That's what I told you. It's very interesting. You start searching for something, you keep moving forward, and you will be ending up completing only one topic. You take just family. Family alone, you can do a complete thesis altogether. But a guide can tell you what you have to do, what you need not know. The role of guide here is in two perspectives. One is time saving. Second one is strategy. You understand? This is one perspective I will tell you. You should always have a guide when it comes to this. You understand? That's what I told you at the first. Can you do it self? Of course you can do it self. If you know how to use internet, you know how to read and write, you can definitely do it. But it is going to be very time consuming. It is going to be very tough. And I will tell you why to do that. That is the only perspective I'm telling you. Okay, fine. That is why technical, when we spoke about technical paper, they will ask you the question, why you did not choose your UG degree or PG degree as an optional. You can always say this answer. Okay. Any other doubts you have? Yes. See, yes, case studies, examples, an anthropologist's name is going to be very, very important. Okay, the question might seem like an opinion-based question, but your opinions are good, but you have to always give an example. So an anthropologist said this. This is happening in this part of world. So you are supposed to give examples and write it. Okay. So those case studies, if you are not writing, you will get a normal mark. I'm not saying they're going to mark your answer wrong. But if you have to get very good score, those substantiations are going to play a major role. Okay. And you need not write a unique example. That also I'm telling you. Don't search for an example which nobody will write. Because I did this mistake, many of the aspirants did this mistake. I don't want you to do that. Fine, there are only certain places where you are going to search for an example and always note it down in the notes already. That you can use it n number of times. Okay, the substantiations are the examples, the case studies, and the name of the anthropologist. This is going to be mandatory in your answers. Okay, this comes with practice. It's not going to be tough. This is like inevitable in anything you study. Even in GS, when you write, if you are not writing example, you won't get good marks. You understand? That I can help you with. You need not worry that should I search and study, should I find it, all those things. That we will discuss in the class also. You need not worry about it. Okay? Yes, you had a doubt. Yes? One. Yes. So you say if you are from a medical background, okay. Okay. See, that's what I told you. This was like, I won't say medical students will actually prefer anthropology. Why? Because there is medical science also as an optional paper. But the same reason they will not get guide. So they will come to the closest possible which they feel comfortable, which is anthropology. I'll tell you the very open perspective. Okay. Biological anthropology is just 1/8 of the paper. You understand? Let's say in paper 1, you will get 2 to 3 questions from that particular topic. Will that decide your entire mark? No. If you go to any other optionals, you will have someone who has taken that optional as a UG and they are sitting there. This is going to be inevitable in any optional you take. You understand what I'm telling you? But if biology is the deciding aspect of the paper, I will tell you not to choose it. This is not going to be the deciding factor. This is just 1/8 of the syllabus, which we will discuss in the class, which I'm going to sit with you and give clarifications for you, and you are going to practice the questions also. And also, this is not going to be at medical level. No. There, they are not going to ask you what is the technical name of a disease. They're not going to ask you the medicines. No. You understand what I'm telling you? They are not going to study demography, which is in biological anthropology. They're going to study it here new, which you are also going to study it here new. Okay, epidemiological anthropology, nutritional anthropology, maybe they might have studied it in the degree, which you are going to study it along with them. The chances of you getting questions from that would be 1 or 2 questions. For that 1 or 2 questions, should you choose another optionals? I won't suggest. If you feel comfortable in all the other topics, you're not comfortable only in this perspective, you can choose this optional. If you are not comfortable in any of the part of the syllabus, you need not choose this optional. You have to see what optional is comfortable. But will this be an advantage to them? I will say you have another advantage in some other part. This is going to be win-win for everyone. You understand? If they are comfortable in the biological anthropology, let's say you are comfortable in social anthropology. You will score better in social anthropology and they will score better in biological anthropology, and finally the mark is going to be almost same. You understand what I'm telling you? So if you have to be from a medical science background, if you have to be from a biology background, I am standing here as an example who's an engineer by undergraduation. It's not going to be different. One thing I'm telling you as a requirement, I want you to process this resistance before coming to the classes, because this resistance will not allow you to even attend the class. Those are the classes you will be skipping, and you will, till the last, you will be telling that is biology, so I'm not comfortable. I want you to attend the class. Clear? You are asking something. That you have to. Anthropologist name, case study, all those. That is definitely going to be there. But that with practice, it is going to be very easy. Okay. So I used to do this called as, I have a separate notes for facts alone. That when you keep reading daily, repetition, it is going to be very normal for you. Okay. Anything else? Merits of choosing also. See, that's what I'm saying. Geography, history, do they have their presence in prelims more than anthropology? Yes. I'm not going to say no. But anthropology will help you in mains. That is one perspective. Second perspective is, even if you choose geography or history as an optional, can you surely 100% say that I'm going to write all the questions from geography right? You understand my question? Let's say you are a geography optional person. Okay. From what is the trend right now, can you definitely say that 100% I'm going to write all the questions right in the examination. There's no, proof for that. It's all about how you are going to manage your time and prepare. Okay? There are no shortcuts. I'm telling you that. I'm just telling you it's going to aid you in mains, it's going to aid you in prelims, which you can take help from. But if you're completely relying on anthropology for prelims and mains, I will not suggest any optional to rely completely for prelims and mains. Okay? Yes. Sorry? Faced in? Preparation process. Okay. Okay. First is not attending the classes. I'll tell you that. If you think that I'm going to see the recording, I can give you in writing, you will never see the recording again. Okay? I recorded all my classes when I started preparing. I still have those recordings. I did not even listen it once. You understand? That's the first thing I will tell you. If you are not attending a class, that topic is going to be the toughest topic for you ever. You understand? First thing is, you will always have a reason not to attend the class, but please do attend the class. This is one major issue you will have. Second is, you won't feel like writing. You will always think, let me study first, I will get ready, and then I will write. You are never ready for your mains writing. Even if you ask All India Rank 1 before writing their mains, did they feel complete? Yes, I have prepared for mains. I'm going to write the best answer. I'm going to get All India Rank 1. No. You will never be ready, which means you should start writing when you are preparing. It's not you complete the syllabus and you write. It's about writing. When you write, you find out what are the gaps and you're going to fill the gaps. Fine. So this procrastination will be a major issue, I would say. You understand? Not attending the classes, not writing would be a major issue, which everybody will face. Okay, that is something I want you to address. Whatever is the situation, try to come to the class. Whatever is the situation, write the test. Irrespective, you are able to write only 2 lines. It's okay, write it. Once you write 2 lines, next day you write half a page. Next day you write the entire question. That is how it is going to be. You will never write one question in the first go. That I want you to understand. This is one issue you will always have. Okay, so first is procrastination. Ice breaking, I call it as. The first test is the ice breaking test. One who's writing first test without thinking the results will give the best mains answer. One who is waiting to complete the syllabus and write the test will be having the issues. Okay. Third one, in classes, it is not my duty. It is a win-win situation. I want you to understand that. If you are not interacting in anthropology class, it is going to be a bit boring. But if you interact, I had my last batch students who brought in newspaper cuttings and we discussed in class. It was very interesting. That makes a very good case study. 2-3 days ago, there was a student who sent me a reel in Instagram and I gave him, this is the example of a case study. You will study in language called as Creole. Okay. So if you see people in Africa, the way they speak English should be different. Have you seen that? They won't use the same, the pronunciation of word is not similar to how we pronounce the word. So when 2 different languages, the native language and you are speaking a foreign language and those 2 merge, you have a new form of the language. This is called as Creole. I told case study. You understand? So this is what I want you to have. If you are not ready to interact, you will find it tough. Okay. Then diagrams, you have to practice. And then the name of the factual data, which we are going to travel along with, you have to work on. These are the, I won't say these are the struggles or issues. Generally, people commit mistakes in these aspects. If you are avoiding these mistakes, it will be good. It will be comfortable. Yes. Professional, okay. See, that's what I am telling you when it comes to working. If you are working or not, I would suggest you to check any optional in the 3 perspective I told you in the first session of the class. Is it mark scoring? Are you interested in the topics? Third one, do you have someone to guide? If you are looking at these 3 things, you can choose it. Okay, so this is what is a fact, I would say. Yes. Sorry, okay. Okay. See, once you complete the classes, okay, so now if you look at the syllabus, there are certain words which you would be unfamiliar with, like cultural relativism, ethnocentrism. There are certain words which functionalism, there are different words which you will be not so familiar right now. But once you complete the classes, you will become very familiar with those. Your perspective towards PYQ will change from now and the last day of the classes. Leave last day of the classes. When you complete every topic, you look at those questions, you will be able to write the answers. Do you understand? Technical words, you can just leave it, which we will work on. That's not going to be an issue. Fine. Structure of note making would be, you will be having definitions of every word that you are having it in the syllabus. And in class itself, we will be discussing in a structured way only. Like let's say you are taking a topic of religion. So you take religion. So we will have a definition. Then we will talk about different types of religion in primitive societies. And one more thing is, everything we are going to discuss mostly will be primitive societies, tribes, villages, fine? So that we will study. Everywhere you will have definition, types, perspectives from anthropologists, then relevance to the current society, and then conclusion. This is how it is going to be almost in all the topics. Okay, sometimes you'll have criticisms, feminist perspectives you will have, and then you'll have cultural relativist perspectives you will have. Those places will be a criticisms. Fine. So I will tell you once we complete a topic or once we are covering a topic, I'll tell you how to take notes. How what are the points you are supposed to have it in the notes? I'll let you know. Okay. Any other questions you have to ask me? Yes.
What the facts said by anthropologists.
Okay. See, when you are studying all these things, your opinions will get more refined. And you will have a substantiation for that opinion from an anthropologist. Okay. You are supposed to write both actually. Okay. You will be writing what you think and you will take a substantiation from an anthropologist. That is how it is. And your opinion-based questions will be rare. You won't get your opinion, like every question, they will not ask you your opinion. Fine. But if at all, let's say, relevance of marriage as an institution in the current society kind of questions, they will ask you. So you will write your opinions and you have to take Supreme Court judgment. And then what does law say? So this way you will start shaping. See, one thing is when you start preparing, your opinions will start getting aligned according to what you study, what you understand. And your opinion and what you are studying will not be much of a difference. I want you to understand that. Okay. So there you will take a substantiation and write. Okay. Anything else you want to ask? One perspective, biological anthropology, I told you, right? There you will study genetics. Those aspects you can take from biotechnology and write it. Okay, but entirely, if you ask me if it is related to biotechnology, no. Okay. Any other? How many of you are engineers here? Okay. So, humanities background? Okay, fine. Anybody from law? Law, okay. See, that's what I'm telling you. Anything under roof comes under anthropology. But the thing is, we are going to study parts of everything. So you cannot ask me that if I should have this as a UG to study anthropology, there's no 1 degree I can tell you that this will be having an advantage. No. You can come from any background. and you can choose this and study. That is one advantage of anthropology. Okay. Yes. Shall we use flowchart in the exam? Yes, you can use flowcharts, you can use diagrams. You can do that. Okay. Sometimes I feel confident. See, Gayatri, this is a case almost you will have it anytime. You will be confident sometimes. You will be having doubts sometimes. That is going to be a regular affair. So what I will tell you is, if you think you should do it, you should do it. At times when you are feeling doubtful, we can handle it. Because this is how you are going to feel about any optionals, any topics, I would say. So yes, see, completely if you are scared, completely if you are thinking that a particular optional is going to be good other than anthropology, you can choose it. I will tell you to choose it. But you want to choose it, but if you have doubts about biology, but if you have doubts about, a small minor aspect, choose anthropology, we will handle it. That's what I'll tell you. Yes. Someone raised your hand.
Regarding the test, whether write or study a lot of sections and articles, let's say, good judgment.
No, when I said case study, I told you about examples, not legal cases. Case study, when I said, now I told you about newer women marriage, that is what I mean by case study. You understand? So generally case studies or examples are going to be 1 or 2 lines in an answer. In certain places, you have to explain it and answer, but they will not randomly ask you a culture and they will ask you to explain it. You cannot study all the cultures in the world. Don't worry about that. Will they randomly ask a culture from South America and they ask you to write about it? They will not do it. You understand? But when you study about certain aspect, you will take example from particular culture and you quote it, which you will be already ready with in your notes. So you need not worry about it. Okay, legal cases, no, we are not going to deal with that. Law we will write it as 1 line as an example. Okay, constitution we will take and write it 1 line as an example, but we are not going to go much deep into it. Okay. Any other doubts you have with respect to anthropology?
It's anthropology.
Anthropological theory is one part, not in socio-cultural anthropology. It will constitute around very less only. You have 10 theories. Okay. Every theory, let's say, is a 15 marker, 20 marker question. That's all. Fine. It's not going to be much. Okay. It's just one part of socio-cultural anthropology. It's not even entire socio-cultural anthropology. Any other clarifications you have regarding optional? See, this you are going to, if you are choosing it, you are going to deal with this for your entire preparation. So any doubts you have, you clarify it now and then move ahead. That's what I will tell you. So do not have anything like it's going to be a very simple question and I'm going to judge you based on the question you ask. No. You can ask me. Not much of thinkers. See, in anthropological theories, you will read some thinkers, right? Those thinkers is what you're going to use it again and again. So it's not like for every question you will have 2 or 3 thinkers which you have to study. No. Okay, socio-cultural anthropology only you will need theories. Sorry, the thinkers. That you will be studying it in the theory aspect itself. You are just going to quote them here and there, like you have toppings on pizza. The base is going to be same. You have to choose what topping I'm going to use where. If you are very well versed, you can even make separate notes for the case studies and the thinkers, which you are very confident with. So wherever you write an answer, you just choose the relevant data and write it. Okay. Yes. Anything else? In anthropology, if you ask me, there are many thinkers. Yes. But in our syllabus, whom we are going to deal with is not many. Okay. Yes. Okay. Mostly static, yes, which we will be always ready with. Dynamic aspect is where some form of current affairs which you are seeing in the news. You are not going to separately search for current affairs, but you are seeing a news where Supreme Court is saying something, or in world you are going to start searching for some, let's say you are searching for anthropology related topics in your phone. Your phone only will keep sending you anthropology related current affairs. You have Google, Google News only, they will start sending you. That if you are interested, keep collecting, write it somewhere. Okay. But is it mostly static? Yes, there are certain questions which have been repeated again and again. Okay, how you are going to write the answer for that question only is going to be the important aspect here. Okay. Yes.
Told us very much possible for the advance.
Yes, yes.
That not how much time it will spend on this one.
See, I will not quantify. Whenever you ask me how much time, I will never quantify. I will always ask you to increase your efficiency. If you are sitting and studying for 2 hours, you understand how efficient are you? That matters. And are you able to sit for 2 hours every day? That is very important. You understand? I will tell you something, practice. Concentrate on more practice, and then you give me the paper. I will correct it and give it to you. And ensure that you know all the questions which are always asked in the examination. Okay? And the same answer everybody is going to write. I think we did this maths. If you are able to take 1 mark extra in every question, you see the amount of marks which you are going to score at the final. It is going to be very high. So how many questions you will have is 5 plus 5, you will have 10 questions as compulsory question. So how will be your paper? So you will have paper 1, you will have part A and B. You understand? So part A and B you will have. Part A, first question, you will have A, B, C, D, E, 10 marks each. So this will be 50 marks compulsory question. This also will be 50 marks. This would be 5th question. You understand? This will be 5th question. 50 marks is compulsory. So 100 marks will be compulsory for you. The remaining 150 marks you will have choice, which means you should write totally 3 questions. After writing these 2, you're going to write 3 more questions in which you should choose at least 1 in part A and part B. 1 more you can choose it anywhere. You understand what I'm telling you? And you will have second question which will have A, B and C criteria. A will be for 20 marks, B will be for 15 marks and C will be for 15 marks. This way you will have 3rd and 4th question here, 6, 7 and 8 here. You understand? So this is going to be 5 questions. This is going to be 3 questions. And this is going to be again 5 questions. Again 1 3 question you will write. And now 1 more question you are supposed to choose. You will either choose it in part A or part B. Okay? You can never leave any topic in choice, because within this they might shuffle the question and give you. Most of the situation, 2 questions in a particular, 2 subdivisions in a particular question, you will be comfortable. The 3rd question, how you write will decide how many marks you get. That is why I will tell you, do not leave anything in choice. What is the advantage of optional and compared to GS is that optional syllabus is defined. GS, there is no defined syllabus. That is why mark scoring potential in optional is higher than the GS. You understand? This is certain. You can give time and you can study. You can really score well because you have a boundary to this. But in GS, you do not have a boundary. Okay? If you are studying in a very decent, honest way, and you are knowing every question that has been asked in the PYQ for the past 10 years, you are going to have a very good presentation also. In that case, you get 280 plus. But if you have to go above 300 plus, how you are going to write every answer very well, how you are going to place your case study, how you are going to, present really well, all these things will actually help you. You understand? Those 20 marks extra, which 280 plus everybody is getting. And more than that, if you have to go, that comes with practice, not with studying. I want you to understand that. You're going to write perfect answers that you are going to get more than 300. So let's take 1 mark here, 5 mark, 3 marks. So 8 plus 8, 16 and another 3 marks. 21 marks you can score just by taking 1 mark extra in every question. You score 21 marks extra from other people, which is 42 marks. 42 marks is just, think about it. Okay, if 280 everybody is taking, let's say in our class, in a good way, if everybody are preparing decently and honestly, let's say average is 280, you will be getting 320, almost near 320. Just 1 mark extra in a question. How much effort do you think 1 mark will take? A minute small change in every question. Okay, that comes with practice, not by studying. That I want you to understand. 280 marks you are going to study and write. But that extra marks in one question is through presentation. Clear? Yes? Fine. Shweta, again, mathematics as an optional, if you ask me, I'm having no idea about mathematics as an optional. Mathematics is equally mark scoring. I would say mathematics is also really mark scoring. One thing, if you ask me about anthropology, is I am here to guide. So that is the one confident factor I can tell you. But I will suggest you to again attend the demo. The same answer I will tell you. If you ask me to compare between any optionals, I am not qualified to say that because I can only speak about anthropology. Clear? But what you are supposed to do is attend the demo, see the syllabus, see the mark scoring aspect and decide. That is what I would tell you. Okay? Okay. Anything else you want to ask? That's what I'm telling you. How much ever they can change the question, the answer is going to be same. Let's say instead of asking a theory, let's say Malinowski came up with a theory of functionalism. Instead of asking, explain what is functionalism, they can just change the type of question, but the answer is going to be same. You understand? See, mains is a selection paper. I want you to understand one thing. Prelims is an elimination paper. Prelims, they will try to eliminate how many members as possible. So prelims, they are trying to scare you away. You might have prepared well, but they just want you to go away. But mains, they really want to see what is your perspective. They really want to understand who you are as a person. So their aim in mains will not be to confuse you, but to extract more from you. So maybe the question might look different, but answer will almost be the same. If you have clarity on basics, you will be able to handle it. It won't be much of an issue. Okay? Anything else you want to? No, that we will practice. Outline diagrams only. So it's not like you have to shade, let's say you were drawing an ape. Okay? One comedy will be there, no? The Korangu Bomma, the Kannadi. So it's not going to be like you have to draw a perfect diagram with 3D effect and all. See, this is an ape. You should just look at the 4 legs it is walking on. Is it walking on 4 legs? You believe it is quadrupedalism, that's all. You understand? That 4 legs, you should know that an animal which is walking on 4 legs is quadrupedalism. You understand? That if you are able to draw, it's more than enough. Skull and all you can practice. You know that, right? 1001, 101. Okay. So that, see, I'm not saying this is going to be very easy. Let me be very clear. I'm not saying this is the easiest optional. No, I'm not saying that. I am telling that this is an optional which you can handle, and I am confident because I am here to help you. This is what I'm trying to tell you here. I do not want you to come into this classes thinking that this is the easiest of all. No. But what you think is going to make this optional the toughest optional is not the real case. That is what I'm trying to tell you. That will do. See, it is not going to be the that's what I'm telling you. You need not be an artist. Okay, it is. I will help you, but don't worry. If you really need any help, I am going to be there. Don't worry. But one thing I can tell you is it will be interesting. That is something I can vouch for. It will be interesting, very relevant and interesting.
Yeah, I have some clear warning, so we'll be able to focus properly.
That is a very good question. I will help you with that. Okay, it's not going to be very theoretical. It's not going to be, boring. Fine. I will take care of it. I'll go a bit slow without forcing all those data into your mind. We will have discussion mode, and the case studies are going to be interesting. It won't be an issue. Someone else raise your hand.
So, volatile,
What do you mean by, you mean,
after 6 months, we'll be taking a break till our
Mhm.
so that time is about taking.
Okay, see, this won't be a volatile optional, I'll tell you, because it will be very relevant to your life. All the aspects you're going to study will be relevant to your life. But one thing is the factual data which you are studying here in this, you might forget it. Okay. However, you take any optional, this will be the case. So after 6 months, once you complete this, so 6 months, if you are not entirely going to the optional, you will forget the aspect of any optional. So what I will always suggest you is, if you are attending the class for 4 months, the next 4 months you are supposed to make notes. Let's say you're not spending every day 2.5 hours for this, but let's say you spend 2 days per week, which you exclusively give for optionals to make notes. And you have a very good advantage with that aspect. Because notes, see, one thing is, who is having good notes will clear this exam very easily. Please understand that. If you are not writing your notes, there are toppers notes, I can give you handouts, but why I am asking you to make notes is that will be more helpful than the handouts I give you. The handouts I'm giving you is just value addition. Okay, if you try this, you can take test series, you can just discuss this. You can always keep in touch with me. Like when you're randomly studying something you want to know, you can ask this. How much ever you prepare, there will be a requirement during the examination where you revise all those factual data. Concepts you will not forget, that I can tell you, because it's going to be relevant. No. Anything else you want to ask? See, very good question. So, ma'am, will I be able to complete 5 questions in 3 hours? In colleges, you would be having 100 marks for 3 hours, I guess. Yes? 70 marks. Okay. 70 marks for 3 hours. Okay. So, here you will have 250 marks for 3 hours. Okay. And one more thing is, every word you write should be keyword. It's not going to be like mane, tene, punmane. No, it's not. It will never work. So what will help you is the time taken for you to think should actually become 0. When you look at a question, you're going to start writing. If you practice that way, it is completely possible. Our aim will be, you look at a question, immediately you start writing. You have to be ready to that aspect. If you are ready for that aspect, it is completely possible. Sometimes even I've known people who have completed 15 minutes before, 10 minutes before also. I will always suggest to practice for 2.5 hours here for every mains test, not for 3 hours. Because that half an hour will be your buffer. Emotional turmoil. Okay? Someone near you will irritate you. We get irritated. To be honest, that day, we are under emotional pressure. We get, because paper 1 and paper 2 is on the same day. Paper 1's impact might be there for the paper 2. So I will suggest you to practice for 2.5 hours. So the half an hour will be a buffer there, which will help you. In some questions where you might need extra time, that half an hour you can actually use it. Sometimes the examiner will not give you the question paper on the right time. Will that happen? That might happen. So for all those things, we will be ready. So 2.5 hours practice, we will do it here. It is completely possible in 3 hours. That I can tell you. Okay. Any other doubts you have?
The anthropology syllabus is overlapped with sociology.
Yes, of course it overlaps with sociology syllabus. But sociology is one aspect, like you study about only society. But anthropology, you study society as one of the aspect. You study every aspect of human beings. That is the difference. Will it overlap? Yes. We will study many of the anthropologists here and there, Ruth Benedict, and then you'll study about Malinowski. All those people you'll study there also, here also. But that completely concentrates only on society. Here, society is one aspect, 1/4 of syllabus. Yes, it definitely has overlapping. Many of the theories, paper 1, paper 2, both these will overlap. Yes, any other questions you have? Is it possible? Of course, 5 questions is completely possible. That I can tell you. It comes with practice. That is how people have been writing. So it is possible. That is why I tell you to be ready with the basic format. Only when based on the question, just rearrange the format and write it. Okay. For religion, you will have one definition. For marriage, you will have one definition. For family, you will have one definition. Biological anthropology, nutrition, you will have one definition. All these things are predefined. You are not going to sit and choose there what definition you are going to write. That is the introduction. For any question which is asked from family, you are going to write that definition. So these things which are predefined, you are going to be already ready with. And the extra part where you need to just rearrange the points, only will be taking time. But if there you are sitting and deciding what definition, for religion only you will have 20 definitions. I want you to choose one definition and write wherever possible. You understand? This is how you are going to prepare. If you are sitting there and thinking out of 5 definitions, I've seen people do that. They will read 5 definitions. They know 5 definitions. They will be like, I know 5 definitions. Where am I going to use these 5 definitions? You understand? This is not going to be the issue there. So 5 questions in 3 hours is completely possible. With the diagrams, with a very neat presentation, and handwriting throughout the exam the same way. Starting, you write it very beautifully. And the last, you need an archaeologist to see what did this person write actually. It is not going to be like that. If you practice, you can maintain consistency throughout the paper.
How many pages for 20 marks?
See, for 5 mark, 1 page. This is the 5 mark. For every 5 mark, you get 1 page. So 20 mark, 4 pages. 15 mark, 3 pages. Sometimes they give 3 pages for 20 marks. It's not about the pages, it's about the word limit. 250 words, 150 words, 100 words. This is how it is going to be. Okay? There are instances where they have given 3 pages for 20 marks. But our aim should be word limit, not page filling. See, this word limit aspect, I want you to keep it in the mind, because if you write lengthy answers, you will lose the word limit. Our answers should be very comprehensive rather than very lengthy, explanatory. That comes with practice. You understand? At start, you will have an urge to explain everything. You will not assume that the paper corrector will know these things. Okay? So those things will get refined when paper gets corrected. Every time I'll tell you this you need not explain, this is more than enough. That gets refined. What happens is that you will start consuming less time and less space, where you start writing more content. Okay? Average limit for practicing each question as a, what do you mean by average limit? I'll be happy if you write n number of questions. There is no limit. Okay? See, let's be very honest. I don't want you to take 100% of time for optional, which is not fair. In what time you have, what mental capacity you have, I mean emotional capacity you have, try to write at least 1 question per day. honestly, one question per day, so that you get familiar. First time when you start preparing, when you start attending the classes, our objective is to be familiarity of the concepts. Okay. Meanwhile, we will try to work on the answer writing also. That is what we are going to do. And there is no limit. There is no minimum limit, maximum limit. But I will be very happy that you write at least one question per day. Okay. Someday 2 questions, someday no questions. I'm fine. On an average per week, ensure that you write at least 5 questions. At least 5 questions. Maximum, it is completely up to you. And I will also tell you, do not completely give your time on optionals alone. That might happen. You can say, ma'am, avlo confident, it has happened. I want you to balance it. Okay. Any other questions you have? Yes. If you're asking the person near you, that person is also having the same doubt. So you're supposed to ask me. Okay. அவங்களும் அதே மாதிரி அதே படத்தை பார்க்க தான் உட்கார்ந்துருக்காங்க. That person does not know what you have as a doubt. You should ask me. Clear? Yes? Fine. Okay. See, timing. See, and one more thing. Please do not divide your time equally between the questions. It is not going to work. Some questions you need more time. Some questions you need less time. Sorry. Your question timing will be worked on test series. We will have class test where I give you a question paper answer sheet. There you can take care of it. But don't set one question, this much timing you should complete, it will not work. Some questions, let's say you are starting the answers, you will write slow only. One question you might take more than, more than 3-4 minutes. Then eventually you pick up the speed, you write it very fast. One question you are very familiar with, you write faster. One question you need time to think. Overall, you have to finish the paper. That is how you're going to practice. Never set timing for one question. That doesn't work. That's not the right strategy. Okay? Anything else? Yes, are we clear here? Yes. So there is any doubt also, you can always ask me. So you can ask the coordinator. So she'll connect you with me. We'll have a discussion. Or I'll be in the 5th floor of that building. So I'm Suba Keerthana again. So if you have any doubt, you ask them. We will discuss further. Okay. And I'll be here for the next 10 minutes. You can come and talk to me here also. Okay. Yes. Online student, if there is any doubt, we will give priority to you right now, so that I will finish the discussions and then we will continue. Online students, are you all clear? Any doubts you have? Okay, thank you. I'll be here only. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. We will discuss. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm just explaining the question pattern. You'll have, this is the case for both paper 1 and paper 2. Yes. So this is the case for, see, if you want to leave, you can, no issues. But if you want to have a clarity on the question pattern, you can sit and listen. Okay, fine. I'm going to explain the question pattern again. So you will have paper 1, paper 2, the same pattern. So paper, you will have part A and part B, which is the first and 5th question will be compulsory. And you will have 5 questions, 10 mark each. You have no choice in that. You have to write all the 5 questions, 10 marks each, which will be 100 marks. So 100 marks in your paper out of 250 is compulsory. Then now you have remaining 150 marks, and you have almost here 3 questions and here you have 3 questions. One question will be 50 marks, where you have a 20 marker, you have a 15 marker and a 15 marker. You have to choose this question if you are comfortable with all the 3 questions, because you have a 20 marker, 15 marker and 15 marker. And one more rule is that you cannot choose all the 3 questions in one part. You have to choose it in both the section. At least one question to be written in both the section. and one more question you can choose in either of the section. So which means that 2 questions you will be writing it both the parts. 1 question alone you can choose it in either of the parts. This is how your pattern will be the same for both paper 1 and paper 2. The same pattern. You understand? And if it is a 20 marker, you will be given 4 pages and 250 words. It's a 15 marker, 150 words, 3 pages, and 10 marker, 100 words, 2 pages. Page limit might change, word limit will not change. You have to manage according to the number of pages given. From what I know, 10 mark and 15 mark, the number of pages will not change. 20 markers, sometime they might give you 3 pages instead of 4 pages. And the questions are printed. It's not like they give you empty sheets. Questions are printed. I think you might have an awareness regarding GS answer sheets. The questions are printed. The questions which you are not attending, you have to strike it out and write down. This one allowance you have is you need not write them in order. Sometimes you know certain questions, you can just finish them and come back to the question which you need more time to think. That you can plan. It varies from person to person. Okay? Yes. Thank you. Your light is on.
CSR